Hello everyone, welcome back to the Pharmacy India. In this session, we will going to discuss 30 most important questions of skeletal system in human anatomy and physiology, which will be very important for your MRB Pharmacist exam. So let's get started without delaying a second. If you are new to Pharmacy India, make sure to download Pharmacy India mobile app from the Google Play Store so that you can join any test series which are totally free of course for your practice. And also you can join Pharmacy India's other social platform, for example WhatsApp and Telegram. In WhatsApp you will get every single detailed notification about MRB Pharmacist exam. So let's get started with our first question. Question is, how many bones are present in the human axial skeleton? Basically, human skeletal system is divided into two main parts. Skeletal system divided into two main parts. First is axial and second is appendicular. Axial skeletal system consists of 80 bones and appendicular skeletal system consists of 126 bones. Clear? So the correct option will be 80 bones. If we talk about the name of the bones, so first is skull, which consists of cranium and facial bone. Second is vertebral column. Third is a thoracic cage. Thoracic cage, which consists of ribs and sternum. Clear? So the correct option will be second. Move on to the next question. Which of the following bone is not a part of the axial skeleton? Now from the given option you have to choose that name of bone which is not a part of axial skeletal system. Sternum, clavicle, vertebrae or skull. Basically sternum comes under thoracic cage. Thoracic cage, and it is also known as breastbone. And also it is a part of axial skeleton, so it will be wrong. Clavicle is also known as collar bone, and this bone is the part of your pectoral girdle. Pectoral girdle. And pectoral girdle is a part of appendicular skeletal system. So the correct option will be second, clavicle. If we talk about vertebrae and skull, these all are the part of axial skeletal system. Skeletal system. Okay. Which region of the vertebral column has the most number of vertebrae? Now, vertebral column is divisible into 5 parts. Clear? It is categorized into 5 parts. First is cervical. Second is thoracic. Third one is lumbar. Then sacral, and then coccyx. Clear? If we talk about number of bones of cervical, thoracic, lumbar, sacral and coccygeal vertebrae, cervical consists of 7 bones. Thoracic consists of 12 bones. Lumbar consists of 5 bones. Sacral and coccyx consist of 5 but fused bones. Clear? So the correct option which consists largest number of vertebrae or bones, that is thoracic, which consists of 12 vertebrae. 12 vertebrae. Clear? Correct option is thoracic, which is the second part in vertebral column. Cervical consists of 7 vertebrae, then thoracic has 12 vertebrae, lumbar 5 vertebrae, sacral 5 but fused. Clear? Okay. Next question. The primary function of the axial skeleton is to. Now, the primary function of axial skeleton is to support and protection internal organs. For example, your heart, brain, lungs. Clear? Example, brain. With the help of cranium, and cranium comes under axial skeleton. Then heart, lungs, with the help of thoracic cage, thoracic cage. Thoracic cage consists of ribs, sternum, thoracic vertebrae. Clear? So these are the examples. Okay, let's move on to the next question. Which of the following bone is a part of axial skeleton? Axial skeleton's part: scapula, humerus, mandible or femur? Basically scapula, what is scapula? Scapula is your shoulder blade. Clear? It is shoulder blade. Shoulder blade, and it is a part of pectoral girdle, which comes under appendicular skeletal system. It is not correct option. Second is humerus. Humerus is this bone. Clear? This bone is known as humerus, and it is a part of forelimb, and forelimb is a part of appendicular skeletal system. It is also not correct. Clear? Next is mandible. Mandible is your lower jawbone, and you can also remember this bone as the only movable bone in your skull. Only movable bone in skull, mandible. Clear? And it is a part of axial skeletal system. So the correct option is mandible. Clear? Femur is thigh bone. Thigh bone. Also the longest bone found in human body. Clear? Next question. How many bones are present in the human appendicular skeleton? I have told you already, 126 is the correct option. Clear? Okay. Next question. Which of the following bone is not a part of the appendicular skeleton? Basically, appendicular skeletal consists of forelimbs, hind limbs, pectoral girdle and pelvic girdle. Clear? Pelvic girdle. Next, move on to our options: scapula, femur, sternum and humerus. Okay, so scapula and femur are the bones of appendicular. They are incorrect. Next is humerus. Humerus is also a bone of appendicular. It is also incorrect. Correct option is sternum. Clear? Because sternum is a part of axial skeletal system, which is also known as breastbone or chest bone. Clear? Next question. The pelvic girdle is composed of which of the following bone? Now, what is pelvic girdle? Basically, pelvic girdle is this part, hip bone you can also say. It consists of two coxal bones. And one coxal bone is made up of three bones. Clear? First is ilium, next is ischium, and third one is pubis. Clear? These three bones combines to form one coxal bone. So the correct option is A, ilium, ischium and pubis, because scapula and clavicle are the part of pectoral girdle, not the pelvic girdle. Radius and ulna is the part of upper limb, you can say forelimb, and femur, tibia and fibula are the parts of lower limb. Clear? So the correct option is A, ilium, pubis and ischium. The function of the appendicular skeleton is mainly to, now what is the function of appendicular skeleton? Protect vital organs, because this function is of axial skeletal system and we have talked about it. Clear? Next is provide structural support and movement. This will be correct option. Why? Because appendicular skeletal system forms forelimb, hind limb, your pelvic girdle and pectoral girdle. Clear? So their main function is to provide movement, structural support, etc. So the correct option is A. Second, provide blood, produce blood cell. No, this is the function of bone marrow. Clear? And store minerals is the function of bones. Clear? Next question. Which of the following is a long bone found in the appendicular skeleton? What is long bone? Basically, skeletal system on the basis of shapes and sizes is divisible into 5 types of bones. One is long, second is short, third is flat, fourth is irregular, and fifth is sesamoid. Clear? The question is about long bone, and options are vertebrae, humerus, mandible and sacrum. If we talk about vertebrae, so these are the bones which are irregular in shapes and sizes. So these are irregular bone, and it is incorrect. Next is humerus. Humerus must be maybe it is correct. Next is mandible. Mandible is also a short bone. Short bone. It is also incorrect. And next is sacrum. Sacrum is also wrong. So the correct option is B, that is humerus. Clear? Because humerus is categorized as a long bone along with the femur, your tibia, fibula and radius, ulna. These all are long bones. Okay, so before moving to the next question, I will suggest you a very important book for your MCQs practice, that is MRB Tamil Nadu objective book, which consists of 5,000 plus MCQs questions, and it contains 25 model paper for your practice. It is available in 4 Tamil language eligibility papers, and it consists of 4 previous year papers with 17 online tests, and it is totally based on the MRB pharmacist paper pattern. This book is very important. You can say this book can be a game changer for your MRB pharmacist exam, and it is also available on Flipkart with cash on delivery, or you can also order it from the description box. Link is given there. Next question. Which of the following disorder is characterized by decreased bone density and an increased risk of fracture? Your options are osteoporosis, osteoarthritis, rickets or gout. Basically, correct option will be osteoporosis. It is a type of condition. It is a type of condition in which bones becomes poured, clear, and loses its strength. Density becomes more fragile. Clear? So these are the characteristic features of osteoporosis, and because of fragility, there is an increased risk of fracture. Clear? So the correct option is osteoporosis. Which disorder results from a deficiency of vitamin D in children, leading to soft and deformed bones? See, the vitamin D is very important for your bones strength, density, clear, muscle strength, and if there is a deficiency of vitamin D in children, it leads to rickets. Clear? It leads to rickets. So the correct option is rickets. Which skeleton disorder is an autoimmune disease that leads to chronic inflammation of joint? What is autoimmune disease? Autoimmune disease is that type of disease in which your body's immune cells attacks the body itself. Clear? Body's cells, you can say, itself. Clear? This is called autoimmune disease, and your options are rheumatoid arthritis, osteoporosis, osteoarthritis and scoliosis. Basically, correct option is rheumatoid arthritis, which is a type of autoimmune disease, and it leads to chronic inflammation of joint. Clear? Next question. Which of the following disorder is caused by excessive uric acid accumulation in joint? What is uric acid? Basically, uric acid is a metabolic waste. Which is formed by the metabolism of your nitrogenous bases. Clear? Formed by the metabolism of nitrogenous bases. Clear? Nitrogenous bases, basically purines. Clear? So it is a metabolic waste, and if it accumulates in a joint, this condition is known as gout. Clear? Which leads to inflammation and even formation of pus in joint. This condition is gout. Clear? This condition is known as gout. Which condition is a congenital skeleton disorder leading to an abnormal lateral curvature of the spine? Question is asking about the vertebral columns curvature. Osteoporosis or scoliosis, lordosis या फिर kyphosis. This condition is also known as scoliosis. Now what is this and kyphosis? So if we talk about osteoporosis, I have already told you. Scoliosis is at spinal disorder characterized by lateral curvature of spine, and lordosis an exaggerated inward curvature of the lower spine. Lower spine means your sacral and coccygeal regions, and kyphosis is an excessive outward curvature of the upper spine, means your cervical, your thoracic and lumbar part of the vertebral column, leading to hunchback appearance. Clear? Next, which of the following is not a function of the skeletal system? Blood cell production. This is the function of skeletal system because blood cells formed in bone marrow, and bone marrow is present inside bone. Storage of mineral. This is the function of bones. Hormone production. Hormone production is not the function of bones. It is a function of endocrine glands. Endocrine gland. Last is protection of organ. I have already told you about this because your heart, your brain, your lungs protected by the axial skeletal system. So the correct option is C, hormone production. What type of bone is the femur? Short, flat, irregular or long? Femur is thigh bone, which is also known as the longest bone found in human body. Longest bone found in human body, and obviously it comes under long bones. Clear? Long bones. Alright. What is the primary structural unit of compact bone? Now, what is the primary structural unit of the compact bone? Trabeculae, osteon, periosteum or lacuna? Correct option is osteon. What is trabeculae? Trabeculae are the structural unit of spongy bone, which are also known as cancellous bone. Osteon is the cylindrical structural unit found in compact bone. Periosteum is an outermost layer. Clear? Is an outermost layer of your bones, and lacuna are the small spaces within osteons which consist of osteocytes, means bone cells. Clear? Next question. Which of the following cell is responsible for bone resorption? Osteoblast, osteocyte, osteoclast or chondrocyte? Osteoclast are the type of cells which are responsible for bone resorption. And if we talk about osteoblast, they build new bones because they are the precursor of, you can say they are the precursor of new bone. Osteocytes maintains bone matrix and act as mechanosensor, and osteoclast as it breaks down bone resorption, helping in remodeling. Chondrocytes does not found in bone, they are found in cartilage. What type of joint is found in the shoulder and hip, allowing movement in multiple directions? Basically this joint allow widest range of motion. Now this type of joint allow widest range of motion in all direction. Widest range of motion. Your options are hinge, ball and socket, pivot and saddle. Correct option is ball and socket joint. Its structure is like this. Ball-like structure on one bone and socket-like structure on another bone. Clear? Okay. Next question. Which of the following is a type of synovial joint that allows movement in multiple directions? Okay. Hinge, ball and socket, pivot and saddle. Option B is correct because this question is similar to the previous one and the answer will be same, ball and socket joint, which allow the widest range of motion in all direction. Example is hip joint and shoulder joint. Clear? Next. The elbow joint is an example of which type of synovial joint? Basically, synovial joint is that type of joint which is freely movable, you can say. Freely movable. And it is divisible into 6 type of joint. First is hinge, second is pivot, third is ball and socket, fourth is ellipsoid, clear, fifth is saddle and sixth is gliding. These are the types of synovial joint and they are present in different part of the body. Elbow joint is an example of hinge joint which allow movement in two direction, back and forth, clear, backward and forward. Okay, next question. Which type of joint is found between the first and second vertebrae, cervical vertebrae, allowing head rotation? Basically, first vertebral column is atlas, second is axis, and the joint which is present between atlas and axis is pivot joint, which allow your nodding movement of the head. Clear? Correct option is C. Which type of joint is found in the thumb? Carpo-metacarpal joint of the first digit. Ball and socket, hinge, pivot and saddle. So the ball and socket joint is not correct because it is only present in hip and shoulder joint. And hinge, pivot or saddle. The correct option is saddle joint. Because hinge joint provides movement in two directions, that is back and forth, and pivot joint is also like a ball and socket joint, but it does not allow movement in 360 degrees. Clear? So the correct option is saddle joint. Ball and socket allow multi-directional movement which are found in shoulder and hip joint. Hinge joint move in one direction, found in elbow and knee. Pivot joint allows rotation which is found in neck joint, you can say between atlas and axis, and saddle joint is allow movement in two planes, that is found in thumb. Carpo-metacarpal joint. Which joint type is found between the carpal bones of the wrist and allow gliding movements? What are the carpal bones of wrist? These are the carpal bones. You can say wrist bone, which are in total 8 bones in one hand, in each hand. Hinge joint, ball and socket is not correct. Plane or condyloid joint. Basically, correct option is plane joint. You can say saddle joint. Gliding joint. Clear? Gliding joint. What type of joint is the knee joint? What is knee? Knee bone is a specialized type of bone which is also known as sesamoid bone. And now what are the sesamoid bone? These are the bones which are enclosed in a tendon. Within tendon. Tendon is a type of connective tissue. Clear? Tendon is a type of connective tissue. Now your options are hinge, ball and socket, pivot and saddle. Basically, correct option is a hinge joint. Again, it is a type of elbow joint. You can say ball and socket, pivot and saddle are incorrect. Hinge joint as the knee allow movement in one direction, flexion or extension. What is flexion and extension? Flexion is this and extension is like this. Clear? Okay. The articulation between the femur and tibia is classified as, what is articulation? Articulation is joint. Nothing but joint. Femur is thigh bone and tibia is lower limb bone. And they join together with the help of hinge joint. Clear? Okay. The temporomandibular joint is classified as, what is temporomandibular? Temporal and mandible. Clear? Question is asking about the joint which is present between temporal and mandible of your skull bone. Clear? Hinge, ball and socket, pivot or condyloid. As I have already told you, mandible joint is mandible bone is the only movable bone found in your skull. Only movable bone. And temporal is a part of cranium. Clear? Temporal is a part of cranium bone. Correct option will be condyloid joint. Clear? Condyloid joint. Second last question, which joint type is found between the metacarpophalangeal joint, that is also known as knuckles? What is metacarpophalangeal joint? Basically, this is nothing but metacarpal and phalanges. Question is asking about the joint which is present between metacarpal and your phalanges. Clear? Metacarpal are palm bones. These are also known as palm bones. And phalanges are finger bones. These are 5 in numbers and these are 14 in numbers. Clear? And the joint which is present between metacarpal and phalanges, that is metacarpophalangeal joint, is condyloid joint. It is also known as ellipsoid joint. Ellipsoid joint. Clear? And the last question, which type of joint is found in the vertebral column allowing limited movement? Limited movement is a characteristic feature of cartilaginous joint. Cartilaginous joint. So the correct option will be C, cartilaginous joint. So these are the 30 questions of skeletal system which will definitely help you in your MRB Pharmacist exam. I will see you in next class with next chapters MCQs questions. Till then, stay tuned with Pharmacy India. Thank you.